Hey guys, Brendan here, and I'm going to take you through a quick video on how to change the gains with your Flite 10 Pro and what model feel and stick groove mean in the Flite. So we've set up our gyro system. We're using JR for this video, and if I move the model, you can see, I hope you can see, maybe the rudder's probably the easiest to see, that we've got a gyro working. These are the default gain values at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the main menu by clicking on the middle of the screen. I go Smooth Flight, and this is where we do all of our Smooth Flight adjustments. Let's pick an easy surface, maybe rudder, because I think it's going to be the easiest to see in the video. Go OK. Now, there's a lot on this page, but I'm going to take you through each setting individually just to show you what they all mean. This is after you've done the calibration, after you've installed your servos. This is sort of like your fine tuning. For a lot of models, the default gain is going to be perfect. It's going to be exactly where you need it to be. But if you do want to tweak a little bit, we give you the options. Starting from the top of the page, you can see we've got rudder selected. And with our calibration, like our LED, rudder is red. The next thing is obviously a reset button, and that will reset just this page, not the whole gyro, just this page. Then we go down to here, it says gyro mode 2. What does that mean? Well, that's the current mode that you're in. On another video, I showed that we have our 3-position switch, we have our off, our flight mode 1, which we call low gain, and our flight mode 2, which is our high gain mode, all on a 3-position switch. And you'll see as I flick that switch, the screen changes to show those settings and those values. So in the off mode, these are all grayed out, showing you that your gyro is off. And if I move the unit, nothing happens. In the low gain mode, I have the option of auto gain, gyro invert, your gyro gain for low gain or gyro mode 1. I have my stick groove and my model feel. And if I flick to mode 2, I have all of the same things plus a heading hold option. And I'll go through what heading hold does with the Flite 10 Pro in a little bit. So I want to show you that. I'll go back to mode 1, which is my low gain. And if I adjust my low gain, which is at 40 at the moment, let's bring it up to say 75. And then I flick to my high gain, the gain number here is back down to 33. So we give you the option of having 2 separate gains for each mode. Sorry, 2 separate gains for each surface. A mode 1 gain and a mode 2 gain. The next, if we scroll down here on the page, is we have our stick groove. We've got linear and we've got exponential. Now, what does that mean? Well, a gyro is trying to keep the model heading in the same direction. When you put a stick input in, like if I roll or I move my rudder, the gyro is still going to try and keep the plane in the same direction, even though you're putting in a stick movement to say, hey, I want to move the model. What this allows you to do is, this is the amount of gain that dials out as you move the stick away from center. So if I use my rudder here, if I adjust this gain up all the way to 100, so it's easy to see, we've got a decent amount of gain for that channel. If I move the stick all the way over to linear, this means that the relationship between the stick on my transmitter to the gyro output to the servo is going to be a linear relationship, so 1-to-1 you could say. And as you move the stick away, the gain will dial down in a linear relationship. And it will actually look like this. So if you think tips of my fingers are going to be center stick, then as I move my stick further away, which is going to be this way or this way, the gyro gain will actually dial down. So you can imagine that it'll follow a linear line like this. And to demonstrate that, as I move my stick away, you've still got some gain there, still got some gain there, still got some gain there, and I'm at the end point there. So it's quite a linear relationship. If I go all the way to the other side, which is exponential, the relationship goes from this, and as you move the stick towards exponential, it actually goes like this. And an exponential curve is progressive like that. And that's pretty much all I can do with my hands so far. What this means is, as you move the stick away from center, the amount of gain dials out rather rapidly. If you can imagine that this is still where I move my stick, and where the tips of my fingers are is center stick. As I move my gain away, this is the amount of gain, or as I move my stick away, this is the amount of gain that is applied to that surface. So if the relationship's like this in the exponential mode, it means it's going to dial out and dial back in really quickly. So I can demonstrate that by, as I'm moving my servo, you can see my servo is moving there, or you can hear it. And as I move my stick away, we're almost got no gain, and I'm at probably about 15% stick, not even. And then as I move further and further out, I've got nearly nothing to pretty much no gain on that surface. What I want to show you is we have the option of making this setting global or individual for each surface. So if you want to have the same feel for every surface, we give you that option. And it's easy to check that. So right now we've got it on global mode. So we've got stick groove. I haven't adjusted this all the way up there. And the same for our aileron setting as well. That doesn't necessarily mean that gain is global, because gain is individual for each axis, but stick groove and model feel is at the moment. If you want to change that so that it is not global, we give you that option too. You go in here, go into system, and you can see that model feel. I think I've just turned it off. Model feel global. All right. So if you want to tweak it down to each individual axis, you can do that with our system as well. I'll let the servo go now. Now, we've gone through what model feel is. I'll go back into rudder. We've gone through what stick groove is. Model feel. What is that? We've been asked this question by a few customers. Model feel is the amount of gyro threshold where the gyro is not applied to that axis. It's probably the easiest way to explain it. So I'll bring my hands back in again, just to give a demonstration. If this is 0 on the gyro where my thumb is, so this is no gain applied to that particular axis, as we move our stick down here, it hits that 0 gain. Still got control of your servos, but that's your cutoff point where there is no more gain applied to that servo or that axis. If you want to reduce that or increase that limit, so you hit that limit faster, you'd go to 3D mode. So what that means is, as you move your stick away, the amount of gain that's applied, it hits that 0 limit faster. So no more gain is applied. Instead of being at my thumb, at 3D, let's say it's about there. If I move the model feel all the way to locked in, it actually brings that 0 gain limit down a little bit. So nothing to do with the curve anymore. It's where the cutoff point is for the gyro being applied. And I can demonstrate that too. If we have a look at, again, the rudder servo, and I'll go to loose 3D, we've got gyro applied to the rudder. And as I move the servo out, we've almost got no gyro applied to that surface. In fact, I think I'm about 20% stick there, and I've got nothing applied. If I move it all the way to locked in, I've got gyro applied. I'm at 20% stick. You can still see the servo moving. I'm at 30% stick. Still got gyro. 40, 50, 60, 70, and I'm at 100% there. And I think I've even still got just a little bit of gain there applied. Now, what that will feel like in the air, or two things. What that will feel like in the air is it feel like it'll have more expo. So your sticks may feel a little bit more doughy when you're flying. But what it'll mean in the air for the aircraft is it's similar to our scale feature in our Smooth Flight 16 and 26. And what that means is the plane will look more locked in, it'll look more scale even while you're doing maneuvers. So things like rolls and loops and chandelles, the plane will always have just a small amount of gyro applied to your axis. So it'll feel and look more locked in. It's where we develop scale mode and sports mode. Now I want to make a quick note and say these are not all or nothing. I can have these right in the middle if I want to, or I can have it as a progressive slider. Bring it back into shot. I can have it as a progressive slider. I can have this one up here and this one down here. They're not an all or nothing setting. A couple of other quick things on this page is the gyro invert. This will change the direction of the channel for the gyro application. What that means is if your servo's going the wrong way, you hit that button, the gyro will react the opposite way. Now, heading hold mode, and I'll do another video on heading hold mode as well, but for heading hold mode, the way we apply our heading holds, and this is still with 100% gain, is heading hold mode tries to right the plane and keep it on the path. You can see that as I move the servo, it's holding and then slowly progressing back. Now, if I move my rudder, well, let's move the plane, and I move my rudder, the heading hold switches out and you're back into normal gyro mode. If I move heading hold back the other way, as soon as I move my stick, the heading hold switches back to normal gain mode. Now that's not switching from gain mode 2 to gain mode 1, that's just switching the heading hold feature off, and then when the stick returns back to center, back on again. So if I move my plane and I move my stick, I'll try and do it a little bit more rapid. I've got normal control here. Everything's operating fine. As I move, if I move my plane around, I've got normal gyro at the moment. If I let go of the stick, I've got back to heading hold mode. So that's the way we do our heading hold system, or that's the way we do our heading hold in the Smooth Flite 10. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has been an informative, in-depth view on the SF10 Pro, and we will be going through some of the advanced features with the Smooth Flite 10 Pro, such as the roll pop, heading hold rolls, and a couple of other nice little features. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked what you saw and want more information, you can head over to our website, boomerrc.com, or for the US site, us.boomerrc.com. If you want more videos, you can check out our Facebook page, Advanced Radio, or you can head over to our YouTube channel, Rick Gel Boomer RC. Thanks guys, and stay tuned for more videos.